What are the different types of Bitcoin nodes? How is the Bitcoin network maintained? Bitcoin is a form of digital currency which uses cryptography to create and validate monetary transactions. It was created in 2008 by its mysterious figure, Satoshi Nakamoto. The important aspects of this cryptocurrency are decentralization, security, anonymity, and accountability. There are three types of Bitcoin nodes in the Bitcoin network or blockchain: full nodes, mining nodes, and SPV nodes. What is Bitcoin? Bitcoin is a digital currency that follows a blockchain model. It is the first decentralized digital currency created in the year 2009. Bitcoin can be sent via email, SMS, or IM, stored in virtual wallets or exchanged on various exchanges. All transactions made using Bitcoin are recorded on a public ledger called blockchain, therefore, it is transparent. Thus, there are no intermediaries to confirm transactions because they are direct peer-to-peer. As no intermediary is involved, transactions are verified and processed by the miner's network nodes. Mining nodes are validating nodes that contribute to the processing and creation of new blocks. They serve to check whether transactions using Bitcoin are valid or not. The most known example of a mining node is a full Bitcoin node, which consists of a complete copy of the Bitcoin blockchain database with all historical and current data. These nodes work as full clients, validating and relaying every transaction. What are nodes? A node is, in its most basic sense, a point on a network. A node can be anything from a car on a network of highways to a work colleague in a professional network. For instance, a car is a node on a network of highways. Nodes are pieces of hardware within the realm of computing that are connected to a network and can send, process, and store information. Hardware and software are the two components that make up a node. Hardware refers to the tangible components, such as microchips and processors, necessary for the software's operation. A collection of instructions that may be saved and executed by a piece of hardware is referred to as software. One example of a node on the internet is your mobile device, such as a smartphone. The applications, browsers, messaging apps, mapping apps, and so on, that you use are pieces of software that may connect to the internet and get instructions from you regarding the types of data to send, receive, and store, such as websites, text messages, and directions. This information and instructions are processed and saved on physical hardware within your phone and other computer links to the internet. In contrast to the internet and mobile phones, the Bitcoin network and the nodes that make up the network are incredibly straightforward. While the internet and mobile phones are designed to transmit and store a wide variety of information, the Bitcoin network and nodes are only designed to transmit and store data representing Bitcoin transactions. This is in contrast to the internet and mobile phones, which are designed to transmit and store various information. Why are nodes useful? Nodes are useful because they validate and relay data between any connected peers. When a node receives new transactions, the blocks add them to the blockchain database. Since all nodes store a full copy of the blockchain database, the data is always constant and completely accurate. The blocks are like chalkboard notes referencing other notes to convey an entire message. All new information in the form of notes on these blocks is then saved. What are Bitcoin nodes? A person must trust another person or entity in a traditional financial system. With Bitcoin, this is different. You do not need to trust anyone because you don't have to send funds or information with each transaction. The most notable aspect of this is that the network itself is designed to allow nodes, spread all over the globe, to verify and record Bitcoin transactions without trusting another entity directly. Bitcoin nodes are machines connected to the Bitcoin network that also runs the Bitcoin client software. Bitcoin nodes are responsible for validating, broadcasting, processing, and storing transactions. Bitcoin transactions are bundled together and saved in groups known as blocks. The concept of historical transactions being kept in separate blocks and then connected is where the word blockchain originates. Nodes need to ensure that the transactions within a block are legitimate before the block can be added to the blockchain. This verification entails checking whether the same Bitcoin was spent twice or whether a sender possesses the Bitcoin they are trying to send. For example, if a sender tries to send Bitcoin, this verification checks to see if they do. The term consensus refers to the process by which different nodes in the network agree on the legitimacy of a block and the transactions that block contains, before adding that block to the blockchain. Types of Bitcoin nodes. Full node. It is intended for use on a local machine, example, desktop computer or laptop. Full nodes will download and verify all blocks from the longest chain available and all records of transactions between those blocks. They will then check each transaction to ensure everything is correct and valid before storing it in its appropriate location in the blockchain database. This means these nodes must hold a copy of the entire blockchain database, which requires significant storage space. Miners. Full nodes are nodes that are also participating in the mining process. When a full node is connected to the Bitcoin network and receives a new block, it will validate it, add it to its blockchain database, and then broadcast this new block to all other nodes on the network. Lightweight, also known as thin, SPV, simplified payment verification. They are intended for use on devices with less storage capacity, example, mobile phones. Light nodes. Light nodes are also known as thin or lightweight SPV, simplified payment verification, nodes. They only download block headers, a small segment of the blockchain. This enables them to initiate transactions, but they need a copy of the entire blockchain database to validate and relay transactions and blocks. These nodes require less storage than full nodes, but do not validate everything independently. Light nodes are computers that run a customized version of the Bitcoin software. As its name suggests, this software keeps a pared-down version of the blockchain. This blockchain implementation includes block headers, essentially just codes within each block that state this block is genuine. This makes it possible for light nodes to join the Bitcoin network and conduct transactions on it without requiring them to store the network's complete history. However, this does mean that light nodes cannot check the Bitcoin network rules independently, so they need to connect to full nodes to obtain the block data. This is an important implication. Mobile wallets represent the most widespread instance of light nodes. The vast majority of mobile phones, with one or two notable exceptions, do not have the processing power necessary to run a full node, and they certainly do not have the processing power enough to run a miner. However, they have enough processing capacity to retain a condensed version of the blockchain, which includes details on wallet addresses and BTC balances. Your mobile device is considered a node on the Bitcoin network if you have ever sent or received Bitcoins from it. Archival full nodes. When someone refers to a full node, they most frequently refer to a full archival node in their discussion. A blockchain network is held together by this basic sort of node, which functions as the network skeleton. Archival full nodes are servers that host the complete blockchain and record every transaction in their respective databases. These nodes are known as full archival nodes. The primary responsibility of these nodes is to validate blocks and ensure that consensus is maintained. Archival nodes can be further subdivided into two distinct subcategories, those that can contribute new blocks to the chain and those that cannot. Pruned full nodes. The term pruned full node refers to a node that helps its customers free up more space on their hard drives by pruning older blocks from the blockchain. The initial step for this kind of node is to download the complete blockchain from the beginning. After that, it will start removing blocks, beginning with the oldest, and continue until the node only stores the most recent transactions up to a certain size limit. After that, it will restart the process. If a node operator were to set the size limit to 250 megabytes, then a pruned full node would be able to store the transactions that had occurred in the most recent 250 megabytes of space. Authority nodes. Consensus techniques, like delegated proof of stake and proof of authority, require authority nodes to function properly in networks that aren't completely decentralized. In these networks, the number of required authority nodes and the individuals who will manage them will be determined by the development team or the community, which will have the opportunity to vote on the matter. These nodes perform the same functions as full nodes in other networks. Their roles are interchangeable. Masternodes. Masternodes can't contribute new blocks to a blockchain. Transactions are the sole thing they are used to validate and record. Users that operate masternodes can receive a portion of the network's rewards. To accomplish this, you will first need to set aside a predetermined sum of money from the native token of the relevant network. One cryptocurrency network that makes use of masternodes is called Dash. Conclusion. Any blockchain network's foundation is full, light, and archival nodes. The first two types of a node are capable of storing a pared-down version of the blockchain. This is something that miners cannot do. The most useful definition that can be given for full node is a node that can independently verify blocks and transactions, which includes downloading and storing the entire blockchain database. However, there is nothing stopping miners from running full nodes as well.